Hello guys, how are you? All right, I'm going to make a video about P Square feud between his brothers. Normally, this is a family issue, so I'm not going to take any side, and I advise everybody not to take any side when it comes to a family issue. I'm going to be neutral. I'm going to be objective. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not taking any side. I'm going to be objective. I'm going to be neutral. As I said, it's a family issue. If you're a typical an African man, okay, when it comes to family issue, you got to be very, very careful when jumping into a family issue. You cannot jump in with your 2 foot at the same time. You got to be very, very careful when there's a family issue. Do not take sides. Always be neutral. The same thing applies to when a husband and a wife is fighting. Never you take sides when a husband and a wife is fighting. Always be objective and neutral, because that could damage your relationship when all the dust have been settled. When it comes to family issue, at the end they will still come back, and you that take sides will look foolish and be hated in that family. The same thing when it comes to husband and wife issue. Always jump in with 1 foot in and 1 foot out, but at the same time be neutral and be objective. So I'm going to be saying my mind the way I see it. I'm not pushing any blame. I'm only going to address it, the root cause. What I suspected is the root cause of P Square debacles. All right, so I just want to let you guys know I'll be doing some write-ups, to make sure I present it clearly the way I say things. So please follow me to that journey and be patient and listen the way I address issues point by point. And at the end of the video, I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about it? All right, so let's go. Yes, the strongest angle is to avoid reducing the P Square breakup to Peter versus Paul. The story is more compelling if you explain it as a combination of family, money, management, trust, communication, and personal differences that accumulated over years. What really destroyed P Square? It was never just Peter and Paul. The renewed conversation around P Square, Peter, Paul, and Jude Okoye is bringing back a painful question for millions of African music fans. How did one of Africa's most successful musical partnership get to the point where brothers who once stood together on the biggest stage in the world could no longer work together? P Square was not an ordinary music group. Peter and Paul Okoye were brothers, friends, business partners, and one of Africa's most successful musical duos. Together, they produced songs that crossed borders, filled stadiums, and made Nigerian's music global force. But behind the success, there were problems that appeared to grow over time. And perhaps the biggest mistake is to think that one single incident destroyed P Square. It was a probably combination of several unresolved issues. 1. Family and business became too closely intertwined. One of the most dangerous things in family business is the inability to separate family relationship from business relationship. When brothers are business partners, disagreement over money, contract, management, investment, and creative decisions can quickly become personal. A disagreement that should have been, we disagree, but about the business can become, you don't respect me. And once business disagreement become personal, reconciliations becomes much more harder. P Square's story appears to have suffered from these problems. 2. Jude Okoye's role became a major source of tension. Jude Okoye was not merely their older brother. He was also deeply involved in the management and business side of P Square. That created a complicated dynamic. Imagine 2 brothers who are the artists, and another brother who is managing the business. Who makes the final decision? Who controls the money? Who negotiates contract? Who decides what project the group accepts? Who controls the company finances? Who decides how revenue is distributed? When everything is working, nobody may complain. But when trust begins to deteriorate, every decision becomes suspicious. That is when a family business can become extremely dangerous. 3. Money and financial transparency. Money is one of the fastest ways to destroy relationship. And when millions of dollars are involved, informal family arrangement can become a serious problem. Questions surrounding income, expenses, investment, company accounts, properties, and how money was distributed can create enormous distrust. Even if everyone involved initially had good intentions, the absence of complete transparency can eventually produce suspicion. And once one brother begins thinking, where did the money go? While another is thinking, why don't you trust me? The relationship is already in trouble. The lesson is universal. Family businesses need professional accounting, audited records, clearly defined ownership, and transparent financial reporting. Love is not an accounting system. Love is not an accounting system. Fourth, success can magnify personal differences. Peter and Paul were twins, but being twins does not mean they have identical personalities, ambitions, or opinions. As individuals become more successful, their personal identities become more stronger. One may want to pursue one direction, the other may want something completely different. One may prioritize music, the other may want another business. One may want control over creative decisions, the other may believe the existence structure works. Eventually, the questions becomes even more harder. Are we still P-square, or are Peter and Paul now two separate artists who happens to be brothers? That is a very difficult question. Fifth, the group's success may have created a power struggle. When P-Square became extremely successful, the group was no longer just two brothers making music. It became a major business. Record deals, tours, endorsements, investments, properties, staff, managers, producers, family members, business associates. At that level, control becomes extremely valuable. Whoever controls the business infrastructure has enormous influence over the careers of the artists. Therefore, disagreement about control can become much bigger than disagreement about a song. 6. Communication breakdown. Most relationships do collapse because people disagree. They collapse because people stop being able to disagree constructively. Once communication becomes, I don't trust you, you don't respect me, you are controlling, you are ungrateful, you are the problem, friends, then every new disagreement becomes evidence supporting the existence narratives. At that point, people stop trying to understand each other, and that is what happens to P-Square. They start trying to prove that they are right. And when family members reach that stage, reconciliation becomes extremely difficult. Paths are made. 7. Too many people may have become part of the private family dispute. Another problem with celebrity families is that private disagreement rarely remain private. Friends hear one side, managers hear another. Lawyers becomes involved, business associates choose sides, fans choose sides, social media choose sides. And suddenly, a disagreement between three brothers becomes a public trial. Once millions of fans have been told your versions of events, apologizing becomes what? Harder. Why? Because reconciliation may feel like admitting that everything you previously said was wrong. 8. Social media made everything worse. Before social media, brothers could fight privately and eventually sit down together. Today, every disagreement can become content. A statement is published. Another person responds. Fans react. Blogs publish it. YouTube channels analyze it. Comment sections becomes battlefield. People who have never met the family suddenly becomes expert on family affairs. And the pressure becomes enormous. Social media doesn't create every family conflict, but it can make reconciliation much harder because sides have been taken. 9. The real casualty may have been trust. At the center of everything appears to be one fundamental issue: trust. Once brothers stop trusting each other, everything becomes questionable. Money becomes questionable. Decision becomes questionable. Contract becomes questionable. Managers become what? Questionable. Friends also become what? Questionable. Even good intentions become questionable. And when trust disappears, Having the same surname is no longer enough to maintain a business partnership. Okay, the foundation scatters. 10. They may have waited too long to seek professional help. This is perhaps the biggest lesson every artist who has business relationship. A multi-million-dollar family business should not be run entirely on family understanding. The bigger the business becomes, the more important professional structures become. P Square needed or may have benefited from professional corporate governance, independent financial audit, clearly documented ownership, defined management responsibilities, transparent revenue sharing, written agreements, independent financial oversight, professional conflict resolution mechanism, clear separation between family matters and business matters. Instead of waiting until relationship deteriorate beyond repair, disagreement should be addressed when they are still manageable. But let us be fair to all the three brothers. It is easy for fans to choose a side. Peter supporters will tell you Peter was right. Paul supporters will tell you Paul was right. Others blame Jude. But the reality of a complicated family dispute is rarely that simple. Not that simple. There may be truth on multiple sides. Peter has his experience, Paul has his experience, Jude has his experience. And their experiences may be completely different even though they live through the same events. Friends, that is why Nigerians should be careful about declaring one person completely innocent and another completely guilty based solely on social media narratives. The saddest part of P Square, P Square had something that millions of people would love to have. A successful family business built by brothers. They had talent, they had fame, they had money, they had international recognition, they had massive fan base, they had history. And yet all of those things were not enough to protect the relationship. That tells us something important. Money cannot buy us trust. Success cannot buy peace. Fame cannot repair broken communications. And being brothers does not automatically make people good business partners. What can we learn from P Square? Perhaps the greatest lesson is not about music at all. It's all about family. It's all about family. If you are going into business with your brother, sister, spouse, cousins, or parent, establish the rules before the money starts coming in. Put ownership in writing. Separate personal and business finances. Audit the books. Define responsibilities. Don't allow one person to control everything. Don't allow resentment to accumulate. Don't let outsiders become the primary source of communications. And when conflict begins, seek professional mediation before the relationship reaches the point of no return. Because once trust is destroyed, rebuilding it can take years. Can P Square ever come back? I believe the question should not simply be, can Peter and Paul make another album? The real question is, can Peter, Paul, and you rebuild enough trust to have a healthy relationship again? If the answer to that question is yes, the music can always come later. But another reunion without resolving the underlying problems would probably only postpone another breakup. The world has seen plenty of groups reunite for money and eventually fall apart again. What P Square need is not merely another concert. They need reconciliation. Not reconciliation for cameras, not reconciliation because fans are demanding it, not reconciliations because there is money to be made, but genuine reconciliation between brothers. Because at the end of the day, P Square was a musical brand. Peter and Paul are brothers, and Jude is their brother. The music can be replaced later. The money can be made again. The businesses can be rebuilt, but family time cannot be recovered. Perhaps that is the saddest lessons in the entire P Square story. Sometimes people become so busy fighting over what they built together that they forget the relationship that existed before they built it. P Square gave Africa unforgettable music. Now their story may also give Africa another lesson. Never allow money, control, pride, poor communication, and unresolved resentment to destroy the relationship that existed before the money arrived. Because when the music stops, when the cameras disappear, and when the millions have been counted, family is what remains. Friends, this is a lesson told, and this is a lesson learned. That is my contribution to the issue between P-Square and the brothers. I'm not taking sides. I'm not accusing anybody. They are brothers. They have to make peace within themselves. The music have to come later. The reconciliation is what matters. Blood is thicker than what is outside. A word is enough for the wise. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to see you guys in my next episode of video of refusing to quit, but give my rebuttal to any concerning note I saw and I will see on the internet. So thank you for your support, and hopefully you're going to share this video, give me a thumbs up, and join the group, join the page. Bye-bye. Stay blessed.